Greetings everyone! Welcome to part 5 of Sonic and Mega Man Worlds Unite. Before we get started, I wanted to point out a few things people have pointed out in the comments. First, there's this panel, which I didn't show in part 4. It had some cameos from people throughout the Mega Man franchise. This family here appears to be the same one from the Mega Man OVA. At least the children. The parents? Debatable. And then we have these two next to Ash Ketchum from Pokemon? People have pointed out to me that they are Dex and Yai from the Mega Man Battle Network franchise. I'm letting you know right now that I'm not that familiar with the Battle Network series, so references to those games will fly right over my head. One thing I completely missed on this page is the Boss Mechanoid D-Rex from the first Mega Man X game. So thank you everyone for pointing these things out. Now let's talk about part 5, by recapping part 4. The worlds of Sonic and Mega Man have merged into one. Sonic and Mega Man themselves are back to normal. Doctors Eggman and Wily are on the run, and our heroes unite to stop Sigma. The issue begins with Sky Patrol flying over the United World, and is anyone else getting a Skull Egg Zone vibe here? Anyway, in the meeting room, we have Sonic, Mega Man, the Maverick Hunters, and faction leaders gathering together. So, Flashman's considered the leader of the Robot Master group. Okay? The leader of Team 6 is not present because she's up to her old conspiracy theory nonsense, i.e. investigating spy brooms. In the Lost Hex, Eggman and Wily are still on the run from the Zeti while pointing out the flaws in their plan. They're going to need a miracle to get out of this one. By sheer timing, that miracle arrives in the form of Xander Payne. He says he's destined to lead the Doctors to their next destination and opens a portal out of the Lost Hex. Trust me, you two, at this moment I'd rather go with the crazy robot terrorists than face the Zeti and Sigma's forces. Back on Sky Patrol, Styx finally shows up after doing her thing. Sally then hands the floor over to X, who begins explaining about Sigma and trying to figure out why Sigma's merged the two worlds together. Plus, they have no idea where Sigma's base is. Bottom line, they need more intel. Once again, timing has brought the very people our heroes unfortunately need. But, since these three are villains, they are immediately locked up. Eggman and Wily confess to being Sigma's slaves and have all the information they need. But they want out of jail and want to be equal partners in this endeavor. Sonic reluctantly agrees while Mega Man flat out says no. X, however, thinks it over before deciding to release them. Xander decides to remain in prison because Destiny doesn't need him right now. Yeah, I'm with you two here. Speaking of nuts, Styx is admiring the jail cells and hangs around Xander for a bit. First, asking him about his skills, and later, getting into an argument about secret organizations. Back to the main plot, Eggman and Wily reveal Sigma's plan of fusing and absorbing the worlds to become a literal god. Thanks to Eggman, they now have the coordinates to the Lost Hex. We soon get a montage of the United Army preparing for combat. First, we have Sonic telling Mega Man that he won their fight in the first crossover. Okay, I'm taking back my comment about Sonic being truthful from part 4. Don't worry, Mega Man calls BS on Sonic's statement. Next, we have Wily admiring some robot designs, especially Zero's. And I should point out that this is the only nod to the Wily Zero connection. Then we have Quake Woman chatting with Nicole on feelings. And this eerily showcases how similar these two artificial beings are. Next, we have Breakman getting real pissed off at Comedy Chimp for making a joke about his scarf. Trust me, Chimp, you wouldn't joke around if you knew the true origin of the scarf. And we have Tails admiring the Robot Master's construction. On the bridge, X is trying to contact his commander and navigator, but has no such luck. And for the record, the commander and navigator are Cygnus and Alia respectively. You might think X was stupid for trying to contact his support group from the future, but with weird time-space shenanigans, he might have gotten lucky. After explaining the roles of his support team, namely helping with tactical decisions and keeping hunters aware of their surroundings, Sally volunteers herself to be a substitute support team, along with Nicole, Roll, and Cream. We got some more montages here, folks. First, we have Antoine and Zero comparing blades. There's definitely some innuendo there, and based on Bunny's look, she knows this. We have a scene with Wily and Shadow Man where Shadow Man reveals the true reason he's stuck around. And finally, Styx the Badger making comments to Sonic and Knuckles about certain features. Let's head over to Sigma, who's not only pumping out more mechanoloids, but uses the world's energies to make a Genesis portal. From that Genesis portal comes a resurrected Chill Penguin. Despite a partial DNA soul, Chill Penguin is loyal to Sigma, which is all he needs. Zavik informs Sigma that Sky Patrol is closing in on the Lost Hex. Sigma orders Zavik to take the Deadly Six and the Mechanoid army to delay the heroes, while he gets back to work resurrecting more Mavericks. So everyone's in position. The support team, the Maverick Hunters, the Freedom Fighters, the Robot Masters, and Team Styx. The issue ends with the Deadly Six and the Mechanoid army heading towards our heroes. This issue didn't have much action, but I'm okay with it. We just had a few issues with fighting and drama, not to mention all the fighting that'll start next issue, so it's a good idea to have a little breather for character interaction. Even Eggman and Wily got into the fray once Xander brought them to Sky Patrol. In fact, let's talk about Xander's role in this story. Some of you might know this already, but for those who don't, then editor Paul Kaminsky wanted to add a human element to the crossover, and thought the anti-robot terrorist would fit the bill. In fact, an earlier draft of the story would have more page time for Xander than the main characters. Thankfully, Ian managed to reduce Xander's role significantly, and now he's just Destiny's lapdog. But it does give us the scene of Xander and Styx discussing secret organizations. Some of the other character moments work if you know the context and history of these characters. Let's talk about the part where the doctors are released from prison. I did like how each blue hero had a different opinion on the matter. Sonic's reluctant, but he understands teaming up for the greater good. After all, he did it before in Sonic Adventure 2. Megaman's flat-out refusal to let them out is also understandable, considering the recent betrayal the Blue Bomber went through. Ultimately, it was X that let Eggman and Wily out of jail because they had valuable intel about Sigma, his arch-nemesis. Speaking of, the Super Reploid's been busy. As I've stated in the summary, he's mass-producing mechanoids like crazy and using the world's energy to bring back the Mavericks. Of course, Chill Penguin would be the first one resurrected. It's probably a shout out to the fact that he's usually the first Maverick selected in the first X game, and I do mean the original. And I see Chill Penguin's going with his Maverick Hunter X design, as opposed to his original. After resurrecting Chill Penguin, Sigma mentioned his DNA soul. So what's a DNA soul, you might ask? It's pretty much the soul of a Reploid. It's a major plot point in the game Mega Man X-Treme 2, and briefly mentioned in Mega Man X6. The idea of Sigma bringing back the Mavericks is sound if one needs powerful warriors for multi-universal conquest. As for the process itself, Genesis portals. Yeah, we get more mechanoid types in this issue, and as such, I will only point out the new ones. The small ones are the Crusher and the Bomb Beam from X1, and the big ones are the Mosquitas from X3 and the Pteranoid from X5. And I should point out that the Mosquitas is the one mini-boss you can fight as Zero, if only to get Zero's saber in the game. In keeping with tradition for these crossovers, a new arc brings a new artist. In this case, we have Edwin Huang. He's currently an artist for Image Comics and Udon Entertainment. Keep the latter company in mind for later, folks. Anyway, the art's a little wonky. Probably because he's had little experience with Sonic and Mega Man characters, but it's a good effort overall. Colorist Gabriel Casada gives the art a brighter look, and I admit, I miss Luis Delgado's coloring, but I'll give Casada a chance. The final score for this issue is an 8. Again, this is because it's a break from the action, a chance to have characters interact with one another. Well, I hope you like that break because next time, the battle begins. Until then, have a good day and be safe. Seriously though, what was Bunny thinking during this scene?